All right, so you guys are taking the quiz on Thursday. Tomorrow you're not going to be here. So just make sure that you do look over it before you come in here. Maybe you already know it, but it wouldn't hurt looking over it again. Would you agree?
Yeah.
All right, so what I did is just grabbed pages out of the book, and I made the quiz today. I literally took questions from the homeworks, okay? Now, they could be some even, some odd, right? Because I just gave you odd problems to do, correct? So I picked them from either one, and I will basically show you the style, the type of problems that I picked. And if you want to pick a couple of these, we can go over them together, and if you need to. So let me change colors here. And over that. Okay, does that work? Yep. Okay, good. All right, so I basically, everything that you're looking at right here, not this top stuff, but everything from 27 to 46 is going to be on there. I put maybe one FOIL method, put a few of these on there, and then I'm going to put two division ones on there, okay? So you have two divisions, and the rest are addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Some just have a number out front, multiplying through parentheses. Sometimes you got two out front, still distributive property. I might have given you one or two FOIL method problems. All right, I gave you at least one that says something in parentheses squared. All right, I give you one of those. That pretty much covers it. So all of this stuff. So how do you want to do this? You just want to ask me how to do certain ones of these?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking? All right, well, start asking. So I will give you one with a plus in here, and then one with like a minus, okay? Can't remember which one exactly I put on the quiz, but it's going to be one with a plus, one with a minus. And then I give you one where you have a number out front that's being distributed, like this, okay? So I give you at least one of those, maybe two of those. I don't know if I put two of those or not. Anyway, I give you something like that. You can ask about one of those. Let me see. I think I gave you one kind of like this, where there's an x squared or an x cubed or something like that out in front, and you have to distribute it like this. And then I definitely gave you one where you had two things in parentheses, so you distribute both of these. All right, which one do you want to do first? Those should be pretty easy, right? Just add them up, add like terms, put them in descending order, okay? Does it say to put it? No. Well, it says in standard form. I think when they say standard form, I think that basically means put it in descending order, all right? Which one you want to do?
Can you still do one of the
Just tell me which one you want to do. Give me a number and we'll do it. Which one?
27?
27? Okay. So let's do it. Let's see. Can I squeeze it in over here? I'll just try to squeeze it in here. Is that all right? Then I'll just get rid of it when I'm done. All right, so it's going to be x squared plus 4x plus 5 plus 3x minus 3. So we add the like terms. X squared. Are there any other x squareds I can add that to? No, so I just write down what? X squared. And I'm done with that one. I got a 4x. Are there any other x's? Yeah, the 3x. Yeah, 4x plus 3x is 7x. I'm done with the x's. And now I'm just left with regular numbers. I got a plus 5 and I got a minus 3. I just add those up. What's 5 minus 3? 2. It's positive, so I put plus. And there you go. That's all there is to that. Should be the easiest one out of them all. But then I also give you one where you have a minus. Okay? So you want to do one of those? All right. Now, what's the only thing different between this and this? What do I do with that minus? Distribute it. That's it. I got to take that minus through all of those. So I got to rewrite it. So look at the first one, though. There's nothing out in front of that first one. Should I enlarge this a little bit? Does that make it a little easier to see? Is that okay? Excuse me. All right, so I write the first part just the way it looks right there. I don't need the parentheses on this. There's nothing being multiplied. Like on this one, look at number 34. Do I need the parentheses on this one? Absolutely, because I'm taking that -2 and distributing it through that parentheses. On this one, there's nothing out in front. Technically, there's a 1, but that doesn't really change anything. So I can just write it without the parentheses. So it's going to be x squared minus 3x minus 4. Now, this is the key to this problem. I got to change the sign of everything in here. That's what that negative is doing. So it's going to be a minus x cubed. It's going to be minus a minus. What's that? Plus 3x squared. And then minus a positive x, which is a minus x. See what it's doing? It's just changing the signs of everything in there. And then a minus 5. Yes? I am. Okay, everybody follow me? Okay. Are we done? No, you got to add like terms. And you want to also put it in descending order. Okay, I might even say that on the quiz. Right? Make sure your answers are in descending order. And if you don't put it in descending order, I'm going to mark it wrong. Everybody got that? What's the highest exponent here that I need to write down? The x cubed. And it's a minus x cubed, isn't it? So I would write minus x cubed. I don't know if you like to do this, but I like to mark them off when I'm done. All right? What's the next power I'm going to put on there? The x squared. So I got a 1x squared plus 3x squared. What's that? Not just 4, but plus 4x squared. So make sure you put the sign in here. It's super important. A lot of people forget to do that. All right, I'm done with the x squareds. What's the next thing I'm going to add together? The x's. So watch carefully. This is a negative 3x, and this is a minus 1x. It's negative 3 minus 1. If you need to do it off to the side, just to make sure you don't mess it up, that's fine. What's negative 3 minus 1? Add a line, change a sign. What's that? It's negative 4. So this is a negative 3x minus 1x, which is a what? A negative or a minus 4 what? X. I didn't put the x up here. I just took the numbers out in front, okay? Does that make sense? That was the hardest part of the whole thing so far, wasn't it? And then we got this, kind of the same thing. Negative 4 minus 5. Again, write it off to the side if you can't do that in your head. Negative 4 minus 5. What do? Add a line, change the sign. What is that? It's negative 9. So it's minus 9. And that's it. That's all you have to do. All right? It's not you're not solving for x. You don't get x equals 3 or something like that. Okay? You just leave it like that. And it's in descending order. It goes 3, 2, 1, nothing. We good? All righty. What else? It's your time. You tell me which ones you want to go over. 36? Okay. This is kind of like what we did here with a little extra, right? Instead of just a 1 out in front, there's an 8. And then instead of just a minus, then a parentheses, it's a minus 6. But it's the same idea. You're just actually multiplying by a number other than 1, okay? So we're doing 36. So let's do this. So we got to distribute that 8 through this whole thing. So the parentheses are definitely important on number 36. So 8 times 4, what's 8 fours? 32. And then x cubed. Can I, make it a little bit bigger. All right. And then it's 8 times negative, so this is a minus. I'm going to put minus. 8 times 3. What's 8 times 3? 24, what? X squared. Good. And then 8 times negative 1. Negative 8 or minus 8. Everybody good? Yeah, we just multiplied everything by 8. Not that hard. Right here, now you got to be a little careful with this one because it's a negative, all right? It messes a lot of people up. So I got a negative 6. So it's negative 6 times 4, which is negative 24 what? X cubed. And then it's also a negative 6. Oh, I'll tell you what a lot of students do. A lot of students, they'll get the negative 6 times 4 on this one, but then they get to the next one and they forget to multiply by a negative. All right, so don't make that mistake. So it's negative 6 times positive 8. 6 eighths are 48. It's negative 48x. Then one more. Negative 6 times negative 2. Right? That's a negative 2, isn't it? Minus 2, negative 2. It's really the same thing. So negative 6 times negative 2 is positive, what? 12. We're not done yet. We've got to look to see if we have any like terms to add up. Start with the highest power first, descending order. Which one is the highest power here? The 3s, the cubes, right? So I got 32x cubed. What's the next one? Minus 24. 32 minus 24, what's that? 8? Is that right? It's 8x cubed. So I'm done with that, done with that. What's the next one I'm going to do? The x squareds, right? Well, there's only one of them, so that makes it easy. You don't have to worry about that. I still need to write it down. Minus 24x squared. I'm done with that one. What's the next one I want to put down? The x. Again, I only got one of those. Negative 48x, so I just write it down. Nothing to add it to. I can't add that to anything else because there's no other things that just have an x. So that's good. I got a couple things left. I got a negative 8 and a plus 12. So negative 8 plus 12. When you're adding, you got different signs. You subtract the two numbers, take the sign of the larger number. Right? So I subtract them, I get a 4. Take the sign of the larger number, it's positive, so it's plus 4. And that's your answer. Pretty good? Yeah, we're on a roll. All right? So that's like the first, I don't know, 3 or 4, okay, or kind of like that. I forget how many and which ones and all that kind of stuff. Let's do one like this. Ready? So I'm going to take that 4x squared. It's kind of like what we just did, except they got an x squared here. So we got to know a little bit more. It's stuff that we learned earlier. Maybe not in section R-4, but in maybe section R-3, or I don't forget what section. Anyway, here we go. We got 4x squared times x cubed. So it's just a 4. But now, how do I go x squared times x cubed? X to the what? Add the exponents, right. Okay, so that would give you what? X to the 5th, that's right. So x squared times x cubed is x to the 5th. Remember that rule from the other lesson? And then minus. Now, again, it's 4x squared times x. Okay, well, you got a 4. X squared times x. X squared times x, or x to the 1st. What is that? X cubed, right? So that's minus 4x cubed. Most likely, most of you should be able to do that in your head right here, okay? You don't have to go off to the side to write that down, but if you need to, definitely do it. All right, one more. Plus 4x squared times 2. So I just go 4 times 2, which is 8, and then the x squared. Even though that doesn't have an x squared in it, or an x, we still multiply them together. Remember, this is not adding like terms here. This is actual multiplication. So 4x squared times 2 is just 8x squared. Any like terms here? No. Is it in descending order right now? It is. Now, do you have to have a x to the 4th? No. All right? But it's highest power. You got a 5th, you got a 3rd, you got a 2nd. It's in order. There's no other things I can add up. I just leave it like that and I'm done. Good? Yeah. All right. Which one do you want to do? 45 or 46? Pretty much the same problem, aren't they? 46? Okay. All right, so here we go. It's very similar to what we just did here, except we're going to distribute 2 things through the second parentheses, not just the one. So we'll do them one at a time, though. All right, so let's take that first thing, that 2x, and we're going to multiply it by each of the terms. You know what I'm doing when I put those lines there? You know what that means, right? It means we're multiplying those things together. I'm just showing you which ones are multiplying. All right, so let's do it. 2x times x squared. It's 2. Can you do that in your head now? X to the first times x squared. X what? X cubed. Good. All right. Now let's take that 2x and multiply it by a positive, so I'll put a plus x. 2x times x. It's going to be 2 what? X squared. Right. X times x is x squared. One more with the 2x. 2x times positive 1, which would be a plus. And then what's just 2x times 1? It's just 2x. Are we done? Do we circle it? No, I still got to multiply that negative 3 through everything. So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to take that negative 3, multiply it by the first one, the second one, and the third one. So remember, it's a negative. Don't forget that. It's negative 3x squared. And then the negative 3 times an x. That's just negative 3x, or minus 3x. And then it's a negative 3 times a positive 1, which is just a negative 3, or a minus 3. Do we circle that like we did this one right here and we're done? No, because we do have like terms on this one. So let's see. Let's start with the highest power first, descending order, x cubed. Do I have any other x cubes? No. So I just write down 2x cubed. Next one is x squared. Do I have any other x squareds? Yeah, right here and here. So positive 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3. What's 2 minus 3? Add a line, change the sign. So that's negative 1. So it's negative 1 what? X squared. Done with that and that. Look, same numbers. 2 minus 3 again, but it's 2x this time minus 3x, which is still negative 1x. You could put the 1 in front of it if you wanted to. All right, wouldn't hurt it, but normally we would not put the 1 there. So I'm done with the x's. What do I got left? Just this minus 3. So I put a minus 3, and you're good to go. I've added up all my like terms. I got it in descending order, and that's all I can do with it. Make sense? Yeah. All right. That's pretty much all of those. Let's do a FOIL. Which one you want to do? Got a bunch of them. 58. Okay. Remember first, outside, inside, last? But it's really what we just did with the 2 things multiplied by the 3 things. You could look at it like that as well. It's just distributive property. So, but let's think FOIL. So first, negative 3x times x. It's negative 3 what? X times x. X squared. And then it's negative 3 times 1. Or negative 3x times 1. Which is minus 3x. Then we do the inside. These two right here. It's negative 1 times x. Negative 1x. Or just negative x. And then we take that negative 1, multiply by this one. Those are our last ones. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Do we circle it? No. We got a couple like terms. We got these two right there. So I just write down the minus 3x squared. This is negative 3 minus 1. What's negative 3 minus 1? It's negative 4. Should be getting used to doing those in your head now, aren't you? And then the minus 1, there's no other regular numbers, no other constants, so you just keep it like that. It's in descending order already, x squared x, and then nothing, and that's it. That's how you would do that. I think the one I gave you on the quiz is like super easy. It's like something like this. Okay, it is. All right. Good. Let's do... Did I give you one of these? I can't remember if I give you one of these or not. Let's do it anyway. It's still FOIL method. All right, so it's not really any different. So let's do first, x times x, x squared. Let's do outside, it's plus 7x. Let's do the inside, which is minus 7x. Let's do the last, negative 7 times positive 7 is negative 49. We're not quite done because we need to add like terms, but check out what happens. This 7x and this minus 7x, what do? cancel each other out. They add up to 0, don't they? So really, what am I just left with? X squared minus 49. Okay? Once you get used to seeing that, look, these are exactly the same except one's negative and one's positive, right? So really, the outside and inside will always add up to 0. So really, all you got to do is just multiply the first and the last. Do you see that? So like this one right here. Same situation, isn't it? So all we got to do is multiply the first and the what? And the last. So what's the first? X squared. What's the last? Minus 1, and you're done. See how easy that is? So when you recognize when they're both the same, one's plus, one's minus, all you got to do is multiply the first ones and the last ones, and that's all you have to do. Those are kind of special ones. Like this one right here, number 73. That's kind of a special one. These are called difference of two squares. Do you remember that? Difference of two squares. Look at this. They're both exactly the same except one's plus, one's minus. So what does that tell you? You don't have to do that outside-inside one. All right? All you got to do is the first and the last. So let's multiply the first. What do you get when you multiply those together? 9x squared. Right. And then you do the last is what? Positive 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. And there you go. The next lesson after we do the quiz, we're going to actually start off with 9x squared minus 16. And what you're going to do is you're going to come up with 3x plus 4 times 3x minus 4. Okay? Are you that excited about it? All right, let's do, I don't know, number 70. There's a couple like that. What do we do here? Do I just go x squared plus 5 squared? No. You got to make sure that when you square something, you always multiply it by itself. So I would rewrite it, x plus 5 times x plus 5. Don't try to do that in your head. So you write it out, times itself. Now we can do the FOIL method, right? Now it's just basic FOIL method like we've done before. So the first is x squared. The outside, now is this one of the ones where we just do the first and the last? No, because they're both plus. It's not plus and a minus, all right? So we got to do them all. So x squared plus 5x, that's the outside. The inside is also plus 5x. And then the last is plus 25. Add up your like terms, you get x squared plus 10x plus 25. That's how you do that. And really, yeah, I don't even give you a cubed one. Remember we did the ones where you had to do 3 of them, and then you pair them up, you do those, then you do, so I didn't even give you that. So that makes it a little bit easier. All right, let's do one of these. I'll give you 2 division ones. I'll give you one. I'll tell you what, let's look at, I'll give you something kind of basic like that, but then I'll also probably will not give you one like 95. Let me see. That's where I ended writing the quiz because I haven't quite finished it yet. I got all the way up to 9 and 10. I'll give you one like that, and then I'll give you one, yeah, like that. Okay? We got time? Yeah, we got 15 minutes. Can I fit it in here? You know what I can do? I can, it's going to mess my circles up, that's okay. I'll do this, and I'll scooch it over once I've written it down. All right, so let's do 89. So I've got 4x cubed divided by x plus 2. So my x plus 2 is going to be on the outside. Oops, let's make that a little bit nicer. And it's not much better. And then I got this. I got 4x cubed minus 3x squared plus x plus 1. All right, let's take this and scooch it over. Oops. There we go. That's good enough. All right, let's do this. Here we go. I'm going to go a little fast because we spent all day yesterday going over these, didn't we? Pretty much with the worksheet. Yes? No? Nobody likes to answer me in here. That's all right. I'll keep teaching. So we say, how many times does x divide into this? Or again, you go off to the side, 4x cubed over what? X, right? That's what you do. You take the 4x cubed divided by the x, and what does that give you? 4x squared. Where does that go? Goes on top, 4x squared. Now we take that thing on the top, multiply it by this whole thing on the outside. And then after that, I subtract it from here. So let's distribute it. 4x squared times x is 4x cubed, and then plus 8x squared. Coming back to you? Hope so. Done a bunch of these in the last couple days. So let's subtract. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. That should always happen. If it doesn't, you made a mistake somewhere. And then negative 3x squared minus 8. Negative 3, let's do this over here. Negative 3 minus 8, which is negative 11. So this is negative 11, what? X squared. See my subtraction? Negative 3x squared minus 8x squared. That's why I put negative 3 minus 8. Bring down the next number. Whoops. Put a plus there. Don't just bring it down. Put a plus in front of it, since that's a plus. What if that was a minus? Then I'd bring down a minus x, but it's not. It's a plus. Now we repeat the same pattern again. How many times does x divide into negative 11x squared? So I'm going to write negative 11x squared, divide that by x. What do we get? Negative 11x, because one of these x's cancels with one of these. Where does that go? That goes up here. Now we multiply and then we subtract. Multiply them together. Negative 11x times x is negative 11x squared. And then negative 11x times positive 2, which would be negative 22x. See, I just distributed this through the x plus 2. Negative 11x squared minus a negative. What's minus a negative? It's plus. Negative 11 plus 11x squared is 0, so that'll cancel out. Let's do the next one. This is x minus a negative. Again, minus a negative is plus. What's 1x plus 22x? What's 1 plus 22? 23x. Are we done? No. Bring down the 1. And it's a plus, so we put plus 1. Now we go through the routine one more time. We say, how many times does x divide into 23x? If you need to, come off to the side and go 23x divided by x. Look what happens here. This x cancels with this x. I'm left with 23. Where does that go? It goes up here, plus 23, because it's a positive 23. Now we multiply, then we subtract, and then we're going to have a remainder, then we'll be done. So it's 23 times x, which is 23x. 23 times 2, which is 46. They're both positive, so plus 46. Let's subtract. 23x minus 23x is 0. 1 minus 46. What's 1 minus 46? Good. Negative 45. So it's negative 45. This is my what? Remainder. So I'm going to put a minus, and then how do I write the remainder? I put 45 over whatever I'm dividing by, which is x plus 2. That is your answer. We good? So hopefully you get the other ones very quickly, because it takes a little bit of time to do that one. Okay? You know what? I think I'm only going to give you one division problem. How's that sound? Unless you really want another one.
No.
I didn't think so. All right, I'll give you one that looks similar to this, okay? we'll just try to keep it basic, right? It's review. We're just trying to keep it as basic as we can. All right, Landon gets a test just on division. Everybody else can do all the easy stuff. All right. Any other questions? I think I covered everything. All right, write a pass. All right, that's it. Now look, we got a day in between. You take the quiz, right? You got tomorrow, and you're going to be probably home late, I would guess. What time are you supposed to be home?
About 10 o'clock, like
Okay, so come to school the next day. All right, come to school and study on the way back. I know you won't, but I'm a teacher. I got to tell you that. All right, good enough.